Hello, everybody, and welcome to Common Sense with Curtis Scott. And I'm here today with James Buford for U.S. Congress, Texas District 6. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor to be here and to be with you and your listeners.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for coming on. If you could, go ahead and just give us a little introduction and a little bit of your background, please.
Very good. Yes, my name's James Buford. I am running for U.S. Congress District 6. This is my second term of running. People ask me all the time, why are you running? And I've come to this conclusion is I've been affected by the federal government in a negative way too many times. And it has really pushed me to be a voice for my neighbors, for my family, for myself. And so just a little bit about my background. I've pastored small churches for around 30 years. I turned out the lights and locked the doors on my church in 2020 for the last time, much like 30% of our churches in the country did also. Our government is not representing us. They are really just taking advantage of us with open borders. They're spending, the out of control, the ballot, not being able to trust it. So these are some of the items that caused me to get into this race. And so with that being said, I've built homes. I'm currently a regional maintenance supervisor for a major company that buys and sells and rehabs and so forth, apartment complexes across Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, and most recently Nevada. And so I do thank you for taking the time out of your busy day from your family to listen in, and hopefully that you'll get a little bit of insight about where I'm at, where my heart is, and what I'd like to see accomplished in the next couple of years in D.C. for you and for myself and my family.
Okay, well, that sounds good. I'm glad to hear you got a good background, it sounds like. How many years of ministry totally, or total time?
Over 30. So I
30
pastored my first church. I was about 22. Had 8 people in a 25 by 25 foot room. I thought I was in hog heaven.
Okay, I've done quite a few. Been to quite a few churches doing youth ministry. Been here in Midlothian, the Lighthouse Church, the Shepherd's House Church. Been at Cowboy Church, done youth pastoring there. So I kind of understand,
Wow.
and it can be a crazy world sometimes dealing with churching and everything, especially with the climate of the world now with everything. So you
Yes,
kind of
sir.
mentioned a little bit of why you were running, but if you could just give us like what the real reason, the biggest reason, why are you running for Congress?
Federal overreach. I'll put it in 2 words: federal overreach.
Federal overreach.
I've been affected, like most Americans have been affected. 22 would be an historic time in our country, in our state. Our First Amendment, the right to assemble, the right to come together, to worship, the Constitution is very clear that Congress shall make and there's no law, pertaining and restricting our First Amendment to right to come to church and to assemble and the freedoms of religion. So in 22, we closed our church and turned out the lights for the last time. So I've seen how the government has stepped in and violated the very thing that they took office and swore to. Everyone in office, they put their hand on the Bible and they put their other hand in the air, and they swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. Well, in 2020, they violated that oath. Now, I feel like today, just to clarify a little bit, there's not one person, I don't think, in the country that would have not approved of, the 2 weeks to curb the virus, but the 2 weeks turned to 2 years. And when you saw the curtain rolled back just a little bit with how much control that our federal government has over Texans, over the United States, to be able to come in and literally dictate and to pick winners and losers. And that's what they did in 2020. They said some would be important, some would not be important. You could work, you cannot. You could get medical, you cannot. Small businesses all across this district have shut their doors and turned out their lights for the last time. These are the things that really drove me. And then you couple that with the housing crash in 2008, when the government was bailing out bankers and banks, and Fannie Mae was going under, and they were getting the bailout, and JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, and the list just goes on, all the bailouts, right? At the same time that they were bailing all them people out, we sit here, when I say we, middle-class America, they don't like middle-class America. And I say they, federal government as a whole doesn't seem to like it. They'll bail out the big corporations and they'll give handouts to the poor. But what about the middle class? We just get the government's foot on our throat. And so you take all these things and life lessons that I've learned through my life and dealing with federal government. But this biggest one was how they dictated to the church. And in some states, pastors were going to jail and being fined ridiculous amounts of money because they chose to obey God rather than man. And so these are my biggest push. This is really what drove me into run in 2020. It continues to drive me even today.